Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Today I want to talk about a topic that I have seen addressed on multiple YouTube channels. I won't name names, but there's quite a few that have done it. And I've seen at least 3 recently of people talking about how nobody ever develops impressive physiques off of full body routines. That's really just kind of for power lifters and maybe for some beginners, but even then they don't think beginners should do it, that they should be training on a modern split. And that is the general argument made by people, is that, oh, I don't know anybody who developed an impressive physique off of a full body program. And I have to look at the people saying that and ask them, have they lost their goddamn minds? You guys must have just fucking started working out last year or something, if that is really and truly what you think. Because splits are a very, very modern thing. For decades, there was not a single bodybuilding champion anywhere in the world who trained on a split. It's kind of a modern concept, to be honest. It didn't even start really happening until the late 60s, early 70s. And even then, it wasn't these body part splits that you see today, these 5-day splits. It was because guys were tired of being in the gym for 8 hours straight trying to get the volume they wanted. So they would break their routines up into 4 hours, 6 times a week. Or 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night, 6 days a week. And they would split things up into upper lowers and things like that to do that. As the drug doses got higher and they started doing 50 or 60 sets of body part in the Arnold Schwarzenegger day. But prior to that, every single one of your renowned bodybuilders trained on a full body program, and the majority of them did it 3 or 4 days a week. It's just that they didn't train with some of these minimalist programs like strong lifts or starting strength. They did very high volumes. They would come in and do a 5x5 or 5 sets of 8 with 12 different exercises in one session. And I'm going to give you guys some examples. First of all, I know most of you know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is, and maybe there's a few people out there who don't, but I'll show you a picture of him as a teen. I'm going to link these pictures down in the description. They'll be labeled. That's what Arnold Schwarzenegger looked like when he was still training full body. Now, he later graduated and started splitting things up and eventually got to 12 sessions per week, but he continued to train each body part 3 times a week. It's just that he wanted 20 sets per session so that he could do 60 sets for his arms, 60 sets for his chest, spread out over 3 sessions each per week. But he started with full body training, and that's what he looked like after a few years on full body training. Now, we know he wasn't natural. All the guys I'm going to link for you, some are natural, some are not. It's debatable. But they really only had access to Dianabol back then. And I know guys today who a lot of people think have impressive physiques, but I know a lot of them use stronger drugs than D-Bol. You see a lot of them stacking Tren, they're on HGH, and they look like sucked up motherfuckers compared to some of these old school guys while they're training on these splits. Give you a next example. I don't think anyone will argue about his aesthetics at all. Now, he did claim to be natural. There was some disputes as to whether he did Dianabol or not after his death. But he was very anti-steroid later in life. We do know that much. And that is Steve Reeves, and you can look at him below. I don't think he had any trouble building an aesthetic physique by anybody's standards. He was the top bodybuilder in the world a few years. And he trained full body 3 days a week. Up next, I'm going to show you one of my all-time favorite bodybuilders by the name of Reg Park. He built his physique primarily off of 3 days a week, full body. And he used a lot of 5x5s. He was also known for bench pressing 500 pounds and deadlifting 700 pounds while as a bodybuilder. He was top bodybuilder in the world several different years, and he was our original Hercules in the movies. Now, he did later go to, during some of his contest prep, where he would just train each body part once every 4 days on a split, but that was a very, very small part of his year, and he only did that near the later part of his career. He did full body most of it. After that, we've got someone who a lot of you guys know. He has a YouTube channel. He still talks about this type of training. Leroy Colbert. He built his physique training full body every 48 hours. So 3 to 4 days a week. He doesn't advocate high reps. He doesn't advocate split routines. He says both of those are for people on steroids, and he still has that stance today as an old man. You're going to watch his videos. And then after that, I will give you someone who did do a mix of both. Bill Pearl, again, one of the all-time greatest bodybuilders. And I think by anybody's standards, he looks pretty impressive. He built his physique off of a full body 3-day-a-week program. He later graduated to what he does currently, and he still looks amazing as an old man. I'll link a picture of him down around 70 also. And what he does as he got older and later in his career, he did switch over to where he does full body 3 days a week, and he dedicates the other 3 days a week to specific body part type training. So he does a 3-day split combined with full body 3 days a week to get 6 days of training. So he ends up training every body part 4 times a week. And there are countless others. Anyone who can go do some basic research will realize that all of the old school champions trained full body, and as drugs evolved and drugs progressed, that is how split training developed. And there is no reason that any person ever has to deviate away from full body training to make continual progress. You don't ever have to quit doing it to stop making gains. It's a matter of people do it for psychological reasons, and oftentimes a day because they're convinced they have to do it. But let's end this myth once and for all that no one has ever built an impressive physique or become a champion off of full body type training. I just gave you examples. Case closed. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot first.